What's up, everybody? I'm Lockouts, and I'm going to show you how to be a Vengeance Demon Hunter. We're talking about macros, talents, trinkets, corruption gear, everything that you need to succeed. Let's go!
Yeah. Hey, won't you do a favor for me? Take your mouse and click the button, won't you subscribe to me? Lockouts providing the content that you see. I'm visually stimulating your mind, 1 minute at a time.
Alright guys, we're going to jump right into this. We're going to make this short and sweet. I'm going to keep it to the point. What we're going to talk about first is macros, okay? These macros are going to make your rotation feel smoother. You're going to get your spells out faster, and everything that is going to happen so much easier. You're going to thank me. So follow, like, subscribe, do that now. Click the button because I'm about to help you out, baby. So first macro that we're going to talk about is throwing your sigils at the ground. You guys notice wherever my cursor is, this is an at cursor macro. So wherever I have my cursor, that's where it's throwing my sigils at. You see that right there? This also works for wherever I'm going to Infernal Strike along with that. This also works for Havoc. If you have meta and you want to jump with your Havoc and transform into meta, you could use this for anything that's at cursor, okay? So how you're gonna do this is hashtag at show tooltip /cast, open brackets, @cursor, close brackets, sigil of flame, sigil of fear, your sigil of chains, whatever it is, silence, whatever your sigil is. You could also use this for your Infernal Strike. Let me find my Infernal Strike here. I cut it called Leap. All right. So for your Infernal Strike, you're just going to do the same thing. Hashtag show tooltip /cast, open brackets, @cursor, closing brackets, Infernal Strike. And what that does is wherever you have your cursor at, you're able to jump. You don't have to make the little green thing line up so that you know it's right there. And you're like, all right, I have this lined up, and now I click the button again and I jump there. Screw that, dude. I'll just push the button one time and I'm there. I'm there, baby. I'm doing DPS and I'm right on my target. I'm on your ass. Arr! Let's go! All right, next thing that we're going to talk about is talents. And the reason we're going to talk about talents and we're running everything like this is because we're going to parrot certain things with Azerite gear for these certain talents and certain traits, all right? So we're going to talk about both, a combination of both as a mixture of everything at once. So a lot of information. All right, for your 99 talent, we're running Abyssal Strike. It makes you jump farther. It increases its range by 10 yards, and its cooldown is reduced by 8 seconds, so that you can do this more often, okay? You're able to get sigils on the ground, and it's cooldown, so you can jump further and all that good stuff. Fallout. Immolation's aura's initial burst has a chance to shatter lesser soul fragments from the enemy. And what that means is whenever you pop it, it's going to generate little soul shards like this. You'll get them and, you got soul shards. There you go. You're able to do other things with soul shards. It heals you, and you're able to generate a chance to transform into meta and soul barrier and stuff like that. We'll get into that as we go along. Your next talent is 102 is going to be Flame Crash. It puts a sigil of flame wherever you land. We were just talking about this. That way that you're able to do this, and whenever you jump, it puts extra sigils on the ground for you. So theoretically, you could have 3 out, boom, 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 and they'll go off. If you could jump twice and then drop a sigil of flame on its own cast, you'll have 3 of them out. So that's a way to burst open up. For your 104 talent, we're going to run Fracture. What this does is it rapidly slashes your target, so it increases your damage by 12,830, and it shatters 2 lesser soul fragments from them. The reason that you want to run this is because you want to shatter as many soul fragments as you can. That's the reason that we're also running Flame Crash, so that we could, or not Flame Crash, Fallout. The reason we're running Fallout with Fracture is because we want to shatter as many soul fragments as we can. The reason we're wanting to shatter these soul fragments is because of our heart. We're running Vision of Perfection, rank 3. That's what my go-to is. I like it. A lot of other Demon Hunter tanks will change this in and out depending on the fixes and keys and stuff that they're trying to run. So, depending on the keys and the fixes and the gear and what your ranks are for your essences. Now, this is all going to be different for everybody. So don't be commenting down below like, oh man, that's not right. Well, that's not right for you. It's not right for everybody. This is right for me at my item level for my guy right now, and that's why I'm putting this content out, because not everybody is going to be able to reach even my item level by the end of the game. So let's go! Now, Vision of Perfection. The reason that we run Vision of Perfection with Fracture and Fallout is because these are shattering our lesser soul fragments. With Vision of Perfection, Every time that you consume said soul fragment, okay, your spells and abilities have a chance to activate your meta for 35%. Vision of Perfection activates you and two of your buddies that are in your group with you. They get 135 haste for 10 seconds. This also reduces the cooldown of your meta by 24% and increases your burst by 100. And also, when you activate meta, you also heal for 5% of your maximum health immediately. This is on a rank 3 Vision of Perfection. Now, getting into why these talents here are so good with Vision of Perfection is because of Gluttony, all right? The 106 talent, we'll just hurry up and get this out of the way, Sigil of Change. The only other class that has something like this is a DK with his mass grip. Sigil of Change, this is your go-to, run it for 106. You're able to interrupt ads, pull them to you, and do all kinds of other stuff. Now, getting back into the main concern of why we're running these talents with our AZ traits the way that we are. All right, so Fallout, our level 100 talent, accompanied with Fracture, our level 104 talent. These shatter lots of soul fragments. We consume these soul fragments. Gluttony has a chance to activate for 5 seconds every time that you consume a soul fragment. So if you got more fragments out there, you got a bigger chance to get into meta. And then your spells and abilities have a chance to activate meta for 35% of its base duration from Vision of Perfection. So at the end of the dungeon, you're probably only out of meta about 5 to 8 to maybe 10% depending on your pulls and what's going on and the RNG that's in the game. RNG, please proc me. And yeah, that's kind of how that goes. Now, the reason why I get a lot of controversy here in the end for the 110 talent, guys, is I had a lot of people in the last video commenting a lot of stuff, and I was like, you know what? We're just going to make an updated video, and we're just going to address all these points, these concerns, so that anybody that's watching this understands fully why they should be running these talents and these traits. All right. Now, the reason I run Soul Barrier, the reason why it is my go-to. Now, I will change Soul Barrier up for Last Resort. I don't ever touch Void Reaver. That's not my thing. Other people will run it. It just depends on what it is that you like, you know. Everybody that hits you when you use Void Reaver, you take 6% less damage from their auto attack from that ad, okay? With Last Resort, this is going to save you from a wipe. Basically, if you have big boy ads, if they're all bolstered up or something's going on and your heal is getting locked out, whatever the case may be, this will save you. The only downfall about Last Resort is it has an 8-minute CD on it. So you have to be in a dungeon for over 20 minutes because within the first couple minutes, you're going to want to get it to proc so that and within the last pulls of the dungeon, you can get it to proc again. And that's going to be the only way that you're going to be wanting to run Last Resort to get it to go off more than once. If you only utilize this thing once, well, then you have a whole nother talent trait that's Soul Barrier that's right here that could be utilized in such a bigger fashion than Last Resort if you are not ever getting into the danger zone of where you're going to need that talent. And I don't ever find myself in that danger zone enough to be like, yeah, I think I'm going to fucking run Last Resort. And after 8 minutes, maybe it'll fucking save me again. Yeah. All right. So the reason why I run Soul Barrier is it gives you a massive shield. Every time that you consume, if you have got 5 or 6 fragments out and you pop Soul Barrier, it's going to add 16,165 to the shield per fragment. So times that by 5 and then add that to the 80,000, you're getting 130,000 on Soul Barrier. All right. Now, the reason why Soul Barrier is so good is because of Fiery Brand. Fiery Brand, when you use this in conjunction with your AZ traits, all right, we're going to bring this up right now. Revel in Pain. So Fiery Brand, when it expires, it's going to put a bubble on you for 83,780 for 15 seconds based on the damage you deal to them while Fiery Brand is active. So when you put Fiery Brand on whatever target it is that you put it on, you want to dump as much DPS into them as you can to gain the ceiling, upwards of the ceiling of 83,000 for that bubble, okay? Now, when that bubble is consumed, you're going to then pop your friggin' Soul Barrier and have another bubble on you for 130,000. So you're having all kinds of bubbles all of the time. Soul Barrier is on a 30-second CD. This is more OP than Spirit Bomb. Spirit Bomb is cool. It does a lot of damage. but not for me. I like to be in meta all the time. That's why I run these talents and traits the way that I do, in conjunction the way that I do. So, explaining to use Soul Barrier as another bubble on top of your Fiery Brand's bubble. So you want to stack Revel in Pain 2 or 3 times in your head, shoulder, and your chest, okay? Another thing, this is moving us into our gear with the AZ talents and traits now, guys, if you haven't known. So what we'll do real fast right here is we'll recap for our talents. 99, Abyssal Strike. 100, Fallout. 102, Flame Crash. 104, Fracture. 106, Sigil of Chains. 108, Gluttony, so you can meta. And 110, I like to run Soul Barrier depending on the fix or the key, guys. This is going to be something that you're going to be changing up for your last resort. A lot of people like last resort, and that's their go-to. Hey man, more power to you. Strong, awesome, run it. If it makes you feel more confident in the way that you're playing your guy, it's for you. That's awesome. Might not be for the next guy, but for me, I like running Soul Barrier because I know it gives me another bubble on top of the bubble that I get with Fiery Brand. I'm able to use my soul shards more often. Consuming soul shards more often with Soul Barrier gives me a chance more often to get into meta with Gluttony, because consuming a soul fragment will put you into Gluttony. So the more that I'm able to consume them with Soul Cleave and Soul Barrier, the more of a chance, or higher of a chance I have to be into meta all of the time. All right, and that's the reason why I'm running my Soul Barrier in conjunction with my Fiery Brand the way that I am. So now, like I said, Fiery Brand, guys, this is the talent that you want right here. It's called Revel in Pain. You want this 2 or 3 times at least. You want to have at least 1 rigid carapace, so that when you do pop your demon spikes every 1 second for 10 seconds, your armor is increased by 131. Now, your demon spikes, it does only last for 7 or 6 seconds, all right? But for 10 seconds, when you run this talent and trait, your armor continues to be increased. After 10 seconds, you get 1,310 armor. So, basically, in theoretical practices, if you could space this out enough and time this out just right, you could almost have demon spikes up 100% of the time. You could have it up actively, I know for sure, 97.8% of the time. So just trying to space demon spikes out, not overlapping it, and keeping your armor to where it's constantly building up from this AZ trait that you have, all right? That's where you want to have 1 rigid carapace. Another thing that you're going to have a huge benefit from in Vengeance Demon Hunter is going to be haste. So Overwhelming Power, if you're able to get it, run Overwhelming Power. For your last rings, you know, if you want to run Rigid Carap or Crystalline Carapace or Vampiric Seed, that's kind of up to you. It's hit or miss. It's preference really at that point, man, when you get down into there, okay? Another thing that you guys could run if you guys are feeling up to it, if it depends on the gear that you have now. You can run Infernal Armor. Infernal Armor increases your armor, and it causes melee attackers to take a little bit of fire damage. So if you were pulling big pulls of ads all the time, which you should be with Demon Hunter, because, man, you heal for a ton, especially with Soul Barrier, and I get these bubbles all stacked up. I heal for 70, 80, 90k, and my healers are going, bro, what the hell is going on? And it's just, this is how you do it. Another thing for your inner rings is Soul Mongler. Consuming a soul fragment shields you, absorbing 5,502 for 5,500, giving you a bubble for 5,500 for every soul fragment that you put out there and that you consume. So, you know, you're constantly putting them out from all the talents and traits that we talked about. Soul Mongler is constantly giving you a bubble. On top of all the bubbles that you have, man, you are mitigating damage, a lot of it. You're not taking a lot, like not a lot. Not a lot. It takes a second for you to get your bubbles rolling, but once they're rolling, bro, man, you're good to go. You're good to go. The kind of the trick is to just keep pulling, you know, and keep all your stuff rolling, because once you hard stop and get into pulling another pack of ads, you might get mollywopped if you're pushing a high enough key, right? So, another thing that you want to have at least one of, if you're running my talents, my traits, in the way that we are doing this, is Hour of Reaping. Now, Lesser Soul Fragments restore 1,978 additional health for everyone that you consume. And then every 40 Soul Fragments gives you a Soul Barrier. So having one of these, every time you consume 40 fragments, you get a free Soul Barrier. So you're going to have Soul Barrier on top of Soul Barrier, on top of the bubble that's from Fiery Brand, on top of Soul Mongler. because you're able to get a bubble from Soulmonger too, from this little guy right here. Where's that at? I gotta find it. Hold on. It is this one. This one? Yeah, this one right here. All right. So Soulmonger is also giving you a bubble. So you have just bubbles all over the place. All right. So definitely, man, be looking at these talents and traits and the way that I have them all stacked up together and the way that I'm running them. So again, we're going to cover this. We're going to make this real simple and short and sweet. We're going to try to narrow this down so that you get the idea of it. All right. Fallout and Fracture. We're running these two talents to get more essences to be on the ground. The more that we consume has a more of a chance to proc Gluttony. Okay? Using Soul Barrier, we have a chance to proc Gluttony because we're consuming soul fragments more often on top of using Soul Cleave to consume our soul fragments to heal us, which will then proc us into Gluttony. Soul Barrier gives us a bubble for 80k, plus 16,000 per soul fragment that we use. So 5, up to 5, maybe 6. I think I've seen it consume 6. So let's say 6 soul fragments times 16,000, plus the 80,000 from Soul Barrier. And then you're going to run Revel in Pain from your head, shoulder, or chest. You want to have 2 to 3 of these, okay? And what Revel in Pain does is every time that your fiery brand expires, it puts a bubble on them for 80,000, okay? And Soulmonger, if you're able to get this on your gear, every time you consume a fragment will give you another bubble, all right? And then having Hour of Reaping, you have to have at least one of these, will give you another Soul Barrier for every 40 essences or soul fragments that you are consuming, okay? So all of this together, you constantly are mitigating damage. You constantly have huge amounts of bubbles that are on you, and man, it'll save your ass. And you will just, I've been so low and I've popped Soul Barrier when it came off CD right on the right time, and 70, 80k, man, instant 0 to 100 heal. And yeah, it's awesome. It's super strong running like this. Now look, you could keep everything the same with all these talents and traits the way that I said, and then just run Last Resort, because you still have the bubble from Fiery Brand, and you still have Soulmonger's bubble, and then you still have the Hour of Reaping bubble from your head, shoulder, or chest AZ trait. So you don't necessarily need to run Soul Barrier. The reason that I run it is because it gives me more of a chance to be procced into meta from Gluttony, because I'm consuming soul fragments more often. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to consume soul fragments, instead of just getting a little, 4 or 5 fragment heal from my Soul Cleave, well, I'm going to also put a bubble on top of these other bubbles that I have, and I'm just going to have super bubbles all over the place. Bubbles stacked on top of bubbles, and I am very fucking hard to kill, man. And excuse my language, but yeah, bro, you're hard to kill, man. Now, talking about corruption gear, guys. If you are lucky enough to have a rank 3 Twilight Devastation, run it. If you could have a rank 3 Twilight Devastation along with a rank 2 Twilight Devastation, and your cloak is high enough to give you enough corruption gear to where you are under 40 corruption, run it. Anything that's over if you are running corruption gear and you're over 40 corruption, you're going to have a chance to be proccing things from beyond, which are going to hit you. And there's going to be times when you're low and you'll end up proccing off a thing from beyond, dude, and you're going to end up getting tentacles on you, and you'll be slowed, and you won't, maybe your Infernal Strike is on CD at that. There's just a lot of variables, and the thing from beyond in the end will end up killing you. So it's not good in PvP. It's not good in running keys or any type of keys that are higher level content anyway. Now, I run 10s, 12s all the time. I tank them. I jump on here and I'm like, cool, I just feel like going tanking a 10. And I tank 10s on this guy, and the way that he's sitting with this little item level at 455, my item level would be higher. I could get up to 463 item level with all of my best gear, but that's not going to give me the best mitigation from my combination, from my AZ talents and traits and stuff like that. Like, I have 465 gear I could replace all this with, but it doesn't have as good as talents with my Revel in Pains and stacking up bubbles and stuff like that, along with the corruption gear that I have that is from Twilight Devastation. It's only a 420 piece that I have. I do have 460 infinite stars on my pants, and I do have 460 pants that are increase my haste and stuff like that. Haste is your friend if you're a Vengeance Demon Hunter. you get all this stuff coupling, and you do have Twilight Devastation, the more haste that you have, the more have a chance it has to proc, and the more often that it is going to proc, and the more often that all your other spells are going to proc and go off. And yeah, man, you're just going to be godly. You want to talk about talents and trinkets? Basically, man, it's going to come down to item level. What do you have that's for item level? There are certain trinkets that you can go and farm that are best in slot, like edicts or you know, other best in slot DPS trinkets that if you want to go and push that are from raiding. There are lots of other YouTube videos and other friggin' websites that are out there that will tell you best in slot for whatever specifically it is that you are going for. I'm going to tell you, generally, if you have a 430 trinket and you have a 445 or a 455 trinket, the 455 trinket, and if you are a tank, is going to be 10 times better than the 430 trinket, no matter what proc that is on it, unless it is corrupted, okay? You want the higher item level for the general raw stat increase of agility, health, whatever it is. Higher item level, everything together is going to be better because everything scales with you. The more health that you have, the more that you heal, the more that all your bubbles appear on you and get stronger and stuff like that. So the stronger that you're able to get your health up, the more that you're able to get your health up, the more that all your spells are going to react to how much health that you have. That's why when you meta, you end up getting all this bigger health pool, and then all your spells coupled with the way that your healing abilities are, you know, goes off. And yeah, man, you're super hard to friggin' kill, especially like you're constantly in meta. Like this is what you do, and then Twilight Devastation's going off. You'll be DPS can't keep up with you in here. I go raid or I go play, you know, Havoc, and I'm in other raids with other demon hunters, and they got, you know, say a rank 2 Infinite Stars with a rank 3 Twilight Devastation, and these guys are going in there and they're doing 2 and 3 and 4 and 500,000 DPS, and it's like holy and then they're healing for 70k. They're out healing the healers. They're doing 4 and 5 and 6 guys DPS combined together. That's where Vengeance Demon Hunter is at right now. It is awesome. So if you're a Vengeance Demon Hunter, or if you've seen other guys playing Vengeance Demon Hunter and that's why you're coming over here because you want to do this, this is how you do it, and this is what you need to be doing to run this. So again, guys, we've covered macros, we've covered talents, we've covered our trinkets, we've covered AZ traits, we've covered our neck piece. No, we haven't covered our neck piece. Neck piece. We'll cover the neck piece right now. It's a good thing that we just talked about all that so that I was able to figure out where we were in the video. Last thing. All right, the last thing here. Vision of Perfection. That's your go-to. The reason that we're running Vision of Perfection is because of the remainder of the video that you've watched up to this point. That's why we're running Vision of Perfection. For your minor traits, guys, this is going to be up to you. What do you have that is, you know, a higher rank? What is better for you? What is unlocked? You know, I don't spend a lot of time constantly chasing everything. I also own a construction company in real life. I'm married and I got kids, and I got all kinds of guys on here. So I don't have time to just, you know, constantly be chasing everything. So, if you guys have been following me since we've been making these videos and doing this content, you can see how far along that each one of my characters have came and where we are right now in the game. So hopefully in the next few days we'll have all the rest of these to purple, and then all of our alts will have rank 3s, and check that out. We just put out a new video this morning too, rank 3 essences, how to get them for your alts. Make sure that you guys find that. We're going to put that at the end of the video here. Anyways, getting back into this. For your minor traits, I run Spirit Suppression, Strength of the Warden, Aegis of the Deep. You could be switching these guys out. You know, it's really up to you. If you want to run your Anima, if you want to run Nullification Dynamo. Nullification Dynamo is an awesome one to run as your minors. You know, just get them, level them up, put them in there. But your go-to is going to be Vision of Perfection, and then you want your minors, you know, Nullification Dynamo. It gives you a magic bubble when you put it on you. Spirit Suppression, you get haste. I just told you the reasons why haste helps you so much for your guys. And melee attackers, they get slowed, so you're able to, you know, have groups of ads slowed when they're hitting you and have more control. And then being the tank, you want to have control. Spirit Suppression is definitely something that you want in your minor at all times, all right? Strength of the Warden, you store up some healing. When you parry or dodge an attack, it'll heal you. You could switch this one out for Conflict and Strife, even Memory of Lucid Dreams, and you could have Aegis in the Deep in there, Conflict and Strife. You know, it just is up to you. Crucible of Flame, put your Crucible of Flame in there. It's up to you. What do you have? What do you want to put in there for your miners that's going to benefit you? Anything that is going to heal you, put a bubble on you, or do some type of damage mitigation is going to be great to have in a miner slot, okay? Some things are better than other things, but again, it's what do you have that is better ranked, because you know a level 3 is going to be better than a level 1 in any given scenario, just depending on which ones that you have. So again, go get these, unlock them all. You're going to have to level them up, put them in there, try them out, check it out for you. Everybody's different, you know. Use raid bots, use simulation craft, check out your stuff for you. All right, now I think that right there is going to finish off the video for everything that we need. That is now the neck, our talents, our traits, macros, gear, corruption gear. The reason why we're running everything the way that we are. I'm not going to go over basic rotations and how-tos and all that. That is a very, very intermediate starter guide, and what you guys want to know is all the reasons why we went over all the reasons why we've ran over everything. This is what helps me. This is what I feel makes me the strongest, and you know, everybody's different, man. So try some of the stuff out, go back and forth, leave your comments and your thoughts below. Definitely help me out, guys. We're almost to 1,000 followers. I can't believe that we are starting to progress the way that we are, and our videos are picking up traction. You guys are awesome and amazing, man. Definitely thank you so much. I appreciate each one of you guys, and if you can, by all means, you know, click the little button. It's over there. Like, follow, subscribe. I'm Lockouts, baby. Peace.
Lockouts, baby. Listen to this one time. One time. Listen just one time. Hey, won't you do a favor for me? Take your mouse and click the button. Won't you subscribe to me? Lockouts providing the content that you see. I'm visually stimulating your mind 1 minute at a time. And YouTube is helping the homie with everything that you see. With everything that you see. And YouTube is helping the homie with everything that you see. Yeah. Hey, won't you do a favor for me? Take your mouse and click the button. Won't you subscribe to me? Lockouts providing the content that you see. I'm visually stimulating your mind 1 minute at a time. And YouTube is helping the homie with everything that you see. With everything that you see. Take your mouse and go with that button and click it, baby. Subscribe. Lockouts 2020. Let's go. Yeah. Thank you.